Here at TFL Truck, we normally review and test factory pickup trucks, but this is a little bit different because here I have a truck that combines a modified suspension system, a really cool camping solution out back, and puts it all together on larger tires. So in this video, I kind of want to take this, we'll show you what's been done to this truck and take it on a drive to see how do some of these modifications work when you put them together. So let's get going. So this is a 2022 Ford F-250 and it's got suspension modifications, like I said. And this is a Carli pin top system, which also gives this truck a suspension lift. Technically, it's called a 3.5-inch suspension lift, but total ride height may change by about 2.5 inches. But then, of course, there's modified tires that I'll show you in a second. We actually have some experience with this system because we used to have an F-250, if you've been watching TFL Truck, and we did a very, very similar suspension upgrade on our truck. Here's the thing. This truck is primarily also a camping adventure rig, so we need to check out the rear suspension. You see this big rear leaf pack right here? Well, that's an Alcan spring. It's actually manufactured here in Colorado as well. Yes, it also gives the truck a little bit of a lift to keep it level, but it's also specific to the weight of this truck. And you could dial it in, you could send the specifications of your truck to a company like Alcan. Of course, there's other companies, we used Deaver before as well. So that additional ride height allows for a larger tire. And in this case, it's a 37-inch diameter by 12.5 width. Basically, that's the spec you could read right here. And it's mounted on this 18-inch wheel. This happens to be a black rhino design. I actually kind of like sort of this military look. But when you do this upgrade, you need to make sure that the wheel you're choosing and the tire you're choosing has the correct weight rating for this truck, because this truck's gross vehicle combined rating is just under 11,000 pounds as the wind comes on. So when you're upgrading wheels and tires and your springs and the suspension, everything has to work together. What I love about this build is a lot of these components are built right here in Colorado, which is local to us. This is where we're from. And Bowen Customs Bed, they have bed solutions for different bed lengths. It can be an 8-foot bed, it can be a 6.5, or in this case, 6.75-inch bed solution. That basically what this F-250 used to have. You can see, really useful. You could put a couple of snowboards up here. You could put some of your equipment here. You could put some leveling blocks and equipment for your camper right in here. And it's also, you're not losing a lot of space, right? You could still put a camper inside of this bed and still have a lot of the storage on the outside of the bed. All right, I want to show you this swing away hitch mount here. We have a couple of mountain bikes mounted here. And the important part about this is that the factory hitch is still here. And it's cleaned up a little bit. You know, you can see kind of this panel here. You have your trailering 7-pin connector, 4-pin connector here. You have an additional electrical connection here and a custom step to let you climb inside of your camper. But Kase, come over here. We still have the weight rating on this hitch. 21,200 pounds is basically was the factory hitch rating for this truck. It used to be an F-250 Tremor. Of course, the suspension has been redone on this, but you can see that side step. It's kind of a little hint that it used to be a Tremor truck, which means it has a locking differential, 4-wheel drive, of course, with low range, and a lot of cool off-road gear, including skid plates. And having an F-250, a heavy-duty pickup truck, allows you to bring additional weight. For example, like this camper, which is pretty sizable. The Supertramp campers are built right here in Golden, Colorado. Once again, I love that this truck showcases Colorado in many different ways. And it's pretty humongous here. It's hard top. You don't have to pop it up. This is a different brand new model. And yeah, this camper may weigh anywhere between 1,400 to about 1,600 pounds plus water. So when you're talking about a camper that weighs about 1,800 pounds, I mean, with some of your gear and stuff in it, you really, really need a heavy-duty truck. you can no longer use an F-150 to carry something like this. You see what I'm saying? So this truck from the factory is rated at 2,796 pounds. And this camper really has a 6.5 foot length. So yes, you could put it on an F-150 or Silverado 1500 or Ram 1500, but you would have to modify your suspension probably, because if you're carrying 1,200 to 1,700 pound of camper, plus if it's tall, I would recommend a bigger truck. This truck is also cool because it's hiding a 6.7 liter Power Stroke turbo diesel under the hood. And this is a 2022 model. So back in that year, the rating was 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. It's got a 10-speed automatic heavy-duty transmission backing this up. We actually had a similar truck, but that had a gasoline engine. So we had a 7.3 Godzilla V8. All right, let's get it on some dirt roads and some paved roads and see how it drives. So this truck right here basically belongs to Supertramp Campers, and they built it all as a demo, right? And because of it, the suspension is designed for the camper and the bed. The whole trunk is supposed to work as one, no matter where you live. Like right now, we're at a mile above sea level here near Boulder, Colorado. You could go up into the mountains right there. You could be at 8,000, 9,000, 11,000 feet very, very quickly. And this engine can compensate basically. And I mean, you have so much reserve power that you won't probably notice any elevation change in this particular truck. A gas V8 may let you know that it's a little bit more unhappy at higher elevations, but this engine is so good. Well, even in a truck like this, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time on the highway, and I'm merging here on this highway towards Boulder. So I wanted to see how it behaves at highway speeds. First of all, yes, we're carrying a camper, so there'll be a little bit of wind noise, right? Because there's something up above you, or also tire noise. But this truck drives straight, pretty nice. There's no vibrations. You do have to keep in mind a couple more things. We can talk about pricing and also what happens, let's say, if you remove the camper. Let's say you're using the truck for a couple months, you don't need a camper maybe on it. That can change the ride quality because you're removing a certain amount of weight and those springs may be a little bit heavier for the camper. So you have to keep that in mind. If you don't want to change the suspension on your truck, you could leave it stock too. I mean, a stock tremor is pretty capable already, but the cost is pretty high for a new truck, right? A base F-250 tremor with a diesel is already a pretty expensive vehicle. It could be $70, $80, $90, $100,000. I tested the King Ranch F-350 tremor, all stock, with a couple of accessories. That was $104,000 sticker price. So some of these trucks can be quite expensive. Then the Carly suspension system, that adds some cost. The wheels and tires will add some cost. The bed will add some cost. The camper will add some cost. So if you want a super nice rig like this, it's gonna cost a pretty penny. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear your comments. How would you build your dream truck for adventure driving, camping? Let me know. And check out TFL.com for everything automotive all in one place, because we do have 8 channels on YouTube. We have 2 podcasts. But if you want to stay in touch with everything automotive in one place, check it out.